Hello, good day, and yeah, today I want to make a new video again. It's all about I want to try to practice before I present another presentation today. Um, this evening, I will give a speech about human history, a brief history of humankind. First of all, we need to acknowledge what the human Homo sapiens means. This is from the Latin word. It the Homo mean species, and sapiens it means wise. So basically, the Homo sapiens mean that wise man. This term given to us because our cognitive function, which is make us can work together as species on the planet in the very amounts of numbers. So basically, we can work together in the large number, and then because we work together, we can build civilizations as we know today. This is great and interesting topic really. It's different from yesterday because yesterday we give a talk about a particular topic that's already arranged by our tutor, but today is quite different because we choose our own topic to give a presentation, and I don't say that I already prepared enough to give a presentation because there are much another assignment, but I want to give a try. Actually, I'm this speaking inspired by a book. It's called The Sapiens, The Brief Story of Humankind, written by Yuval Noah Harari. Is one of the great philosopher in 21st century age we live today, and he is professor in the University of in Israel, which is I forgot the names of the university. I forget the name of the university, but he's a Jew who teach history. He is a master in history, and his book very popular, which is very worth reading. So it's a very nice to to talking some insight from this book in front of people in the class. So there are three major revolutions that happens in human history. The first is cognitive revolutions. Cognitive revolutions is we can say that we know this cognitive revolution happens since we understand the language and we can share information from one people to another. So we this our brain function that works to understand some meaning and make a story. This is a cognitive function. And in this time we believe with myths, with usage, with the deity, with gods, and another story that's invented. We human start invented a story at this moment in the cognitive revolution, which is happens around 70,000 years ago. And then after that, after we learn to use a fire and something like that, we also have this called as agriculture revolution, which is happens around 10,000 years ago. Even though 10,000 years ago is a long time, but considered as human history, it's quite recent, right? And yeah, at that moment, we human not only nomads move from one place to another place, but we start to build a community that settle at a particular land, at some land, and conquer that land, and then we start to doing crops. We plant grains and corns and another fruits that's very beneficial for daily meals, for daily diets at that moment. And also we start to not only domesticate plants, but we start to domesticate livestock like dog, pigs, chickens, and also cow, goats, and another animals that we consume today. And as information that the first animal that we domesticate is a dog, and this is probably explain why dogs have a good and strong relations with human, even though some people prefer a cat as their pets, as the human friends. And this is after agriculture revolution. There our history is still going on, and another revolution that happens through the human history, we call it a scientific revolution. Scientific revolution starts from the particularly in Europe, but in the process, of course, it's that the scientific revolutions that happens in Europe really determines by the another civilizations that have that already advanced before the civilization of Europe. The example is the civilization of India, which is they found the mathematics concept. Then this concept going through the Muslim civilizations in the West Asia before the science going through the Europe and become more developed around 500 years ago. And this is the kind of breakthrough for the human history, because for the first time we as a human that connected people around the world, because at that moment before 500 years ago that we people in Asia already have a trade with the people in other continents like India and Africa, and sometime already in Europe. But we don't know yet about people in the American like Aztecs and Mayan civilization. People who live in the Amazon forest, we don't reach them yet. So when happens in the scientific revolution around 500 years ago, there it's become a breakthrough, because there are many journey people from Europe going through the ocean, and then they land into the continent of America, and then we become connected between people in the all continent that happen, and also people in the southern parts of the world, like people in the Australia and the New Zealand. I don't mean whites, Australian and New Zealand, but the native one, which is they cross into these continents from Asia, and then they going through into Indonesian archipelago before they arrive into the continents of Australia around 10,000 years ago, and they settle there and become a native the continent and dominate the continent before the colonized people from Europe take the journey from the British at that moment into the continent of Australia and try to doing a genocide and something like that, which has become a dark side of human history itself. And yeah, as human, because of our privilege to have this cognitive reasoning, to have to consider ourselves as genius, and we also claim that we are homo sapiens as the wise men, but it is really, I mean, when we talk deeply into this term, a wise man, in our history, we can conclude that we not really as wise as we thought. I give a sample as Hitler. We know the history of Hitler completely from young age. We learn this character, this figure from the probably from our textbook in the history about the Second World, and we often heard people says about this man as is not human. Hitler is not a human but a monster. But is it this man as a monster? The answer is what the monster is. This man is a human just like us, just like us. And I don't say that what he did can justify it is completely wrong. Of course, we believe that, but we need to think deeply that um, very interesting because Hitler as human too. He had don't really have difference with us as common humans. So basically, what the point I want to say is that the point is we are as have a potential to become bad persons, and this is have a proof through our history of self because since the our evolution, our take our long journey, our ancestor come from Africa into the another part of the world. We we kill many animals become extinct. When you when you look into the American history, there are many mammals, it means that mammalia, that means like a cow and a buffalo. There are many big mammals live there in the Americans, but when people arrive in the continent through the what you say is Bering Straits between Alaska and eastern part of Russia. Then when humans come into the continent, then they genocide the animals who already lived there for 1,000 years. It also happens when people going through into Australia through from Indonesian islands, they kills they hunt and kill the big native animals there in Australia, so they become extinct. And in the modern life, we see it happen all the time. In the almost all news, we hear about the global warming, about some extinct species and some species in danger because our activity, because our ego. This is very distressful, and then we as genius wise men not really as wise as we thought we have been through. And yeah, I don't think that I have prepared the conversation yet because this topic quite range, varied, so I don't think that I am easy to give this speech, but I will try my best. I think I want to learn more, about this topic too. But the most important thing is, I think this most important is to talk this topic in a good manner, and then people can understand what I say, and they listen and interesting with the feel interested with this topic. And also, actually, I want to speak more relaxed. I mean, become slower than I usually did, because when I talk slower, people can understand better what I say. I think it's not it's not that I want the fluency in the conversation and give a speech is very important, but what the most important is when I think is when I give a speech that people understand what I'm saying. And then also I kind of struggle to give a speech with and I want to try in English manner. I mean in accents, but it doesn't work very well, and I have no clear idea how to speak the accent of English because it kind of challenging. And yeah, I need more practice about it, but I don't have a lot of time to do, even though I'm then screens into the scroll media so much, which is very waste my time, which is not okay. And yeah, but I still have a time to to practice more into speaking, and I probably try to arrange what I want to talking about in the particular topic in this topic. So basically what I want to do is to doing become more relaxed and to give the speech as enjoyment. And actually, I want to give more interact between me and the audience in the class, but I don't really sure how to make it, because I guess I don't really fit a suitable person to make a kind of joke, which is I don't really know how to make people laugh, because I kind of a serious man. And yeah, and then I worry that if they laughing, it make me my brain become unfocused anymore, and it very distracts me, which is not really beneficial when I still give a speech in front of the class. And I kind of feel insecure too, because many people, many students there already, my colleges already have this advanced English which comes to speaking. Their sounds better, and they have they have many vocabularies, and I feel myself very in the lower or in still in the basic English. And yeah, I think I need more time to improve in that level, which is equivalent to them. And then I have many vocabularies, but to implement when it comes to the speaking in front of the public, quite uneasy, more challenging, because I need to recall all my memory in my head, which is quite difficult, because I need to become more spontaneous, because I'm not really kind types of that active English, which is profound in speaking or writing. I'm more into listens and reading the book, and which is make me kind of left behind in the term of the speaking and listening in the class. But it's because I'm still left behind. There are still huge gap to improvement, which is great to improve myself to the next level, and I hope that I can make it in as fast as possible. So the gap between me and them not really huge. This is what I want to do in the future. And besides doing the speed, today I'm also write so many vocabularies that like prerequisites. I mean the prerequisite is something that you need before you require something, like you need a pencil before you take a test, so it means that a pencil pre-required to take a test, to take an examination like that. Then this omnipresent it means that you have your present you present and effect in everywhere at the same time, like God's omnipresence in our daily basis life, I guess, because we call it God as omnipresence. but it's adjective. Yeah, God is omnipresent, I guess, because God's kind of everywhere at the same time. And also omnipresent, we call it like idol. Example, the singer will make many advertisements, and then he immersed in a billboards and the television and the newspaper at the same time. We can call it as he's omnipresent in all of the billboards in the country. I think we can use that word as that. And then I also that word city simultaneously. It is something that consider as simultaneous. It means that how to express it is kind of quite typical, I guess. But you know that it's happened at the same time. This is when you say simultaneously, and then also associated. Associated, it means that connected, related, or affiliated. That like that when I say that global English is associated with teaching clinic, it means that global English is English course related to teaching clinic, the program to give a scholarship to the student in teaching English. This is, I mean, as associated, and I believe, in my opinions, that associated is kind of more formal than related, but I don't really know, because I probably associate it more in a business term, because when I read a paper or a journal which is very academics, they tend to use a word of related. Yeah, I so often read a word of related with when I read a journal. And then we have these words like extensively, it means as large, in the large area, so it refers because it's the ly in the end of the word. And that when I give here, it means that in a way that covers a large area, has a great range. This is what the extensively mean. And then I also this transcribe. I guess the word to pronounce it as transcribe, not transcript. I think transcript is Indonesian, but when we say it in English, it is transcribe. Transcribe is meant to record that something you hear, probably in the podcast or in the YouTube or another platform, into the script, into the writing. So the transcribe is very important for me to improve my listening skill, which is I want to practice it daily actually, but because I have a lot of homework yesterday, so I don't practice it yesterday, but I want to make sure myself that I practice transcribe some listening from the podcast into the paper, and then I can after transcribe this paper, and I can look into the subtitles of the YouTube video, because I listen this from the BC Learning English, probably you know about this if you were very keen to learn the language, right? Especially in terms of the British accents. This is I got it from the BBC, and then first I listen the audio and then transcribe what the people saying from the video into the paper, and after that I look into the subtitle and I can see which word that I give it wrong. I do it wrong, and then it's make me become better in not only to listening in English, but also my writing and a grammar skill is really improved. I think it's a very great way to learn the language. Of course, because there are already more than 20 minutes already. It's kind of long because I have many things to do after this. So I think I need to stop make this kind of video. It's very fun to talking in front of you, and I kind of like doing this every day and every moment, especially with people, really, because it's very have different vibe when you're talking with the people. Here I talking more freely, I guess. It's different when I talking with the people in the class or another gathering, that kind of very unnatural for me to talking, because I don't know, I just feel not anxiety, but how to say I feel that a little bit how to say it in English, that I feel ragu. I feel or ragu, or how I can. It's very interesting that I try to speak it in Indonesia, but that I try to this English accent. Okay, stop. I want to stop. Okay. Okay. I don't want to talking again. It's already almost 30 minutes and it's too long for me. And then I want to stop. And thank you very much for listening me. and it's very nice evening and very nice week. Really, I'm kind of busy, and I feel just I yes I my physically not very health especially, but I just feel very nice weeks. Actually, I feel happy all the time because we made a friends, we learn so many things, and I kind of glad that I am devote myself into this scholarship program, and I hope that I got this big great output after this program. And thank